The collective energy for this week says that we are dualistic and we have the ability to choose. I'm Stefanie with Energy Alliance, and each week I show up here, I pick one tarot card that highlights and harnesses the energy of the collective. And then I talk about how as individuals, we can tap into this energy to move through these times with more ease, connection, and awareness. So here we go, Collective Tarot Insight. Energy reading for November 12th through 17th. So this is the card, the Nine of Wind, the screen. It's a very literal collective reading. This card is about the fact that we are looking at a screen and how we have been looking at a screen. A screen meaning something that's been playing out in front of us, like a movie. The past, mostly living in the past, not living in the present. So we have the Nine of Wind. Wind or swords in the tarot deck is of the mind, keeping our minds active, busy, creation from the intellect, from our intellect, keeping our intellect on its game, so to say, and keeping our intellect sharp. That's what the wind or the swords is all about. We have so much more capacity in our minds than we even have room in our lives to witness. And so what does this mean for us now as a collective? We're at the 9, the end of the cycle of 1 through 10 in the minor arcana cards. The wind, which is being of the intellect or the mind, earth being of the body or physicality, fire being of the spiritual nature, and water being of the emotional realms. Our minds are very powerful. We know our minds are very powerful. We know this. We see the science behind it. We see evidence of it in our lives. We know this to be a truth as humans. And here we are at the end of this cycle of allowing our minds to be controlled, allowing our minds to be distracted, allowing our minds to be creating realities that we may not want to be participating in anymore. And now we're at the point where we're realizing that we really do get to choose what we focus our minds on. And our minds are so powerful. We know our whole systems are powerful. All these realms are powerful. The wind, the water, the earth, the fire, all powerful in their own ways. And it's time that we're waking up to recognize as a collective just how powerful our minds are and how powerfully when focused we can affect our reality. And when we are distracted and our focus is manipulated, or dare I say controlled, or pointed in one direction instead of another, these are all natural and fine things to wake up to. But don't forget, when we wake up to the fact that control has been happening, we also are waking up to the fact that we have the power to direct our attention where we want to direct it. This is the message of this card. We have the symbols of Mars and Gemini at the bottom here. Our duality, which is Gemini, and our ability to switch directions, switch faces based on our choosing, which is Mars, our power, our ability to choose. Just look at the media this week. You will see it as clear and clean example. Then look at this card. This card asks that we turn it off, go within, contemplate where our mind is focusing. So when we stop and take our quiet time, it's not about shutting off the mind. It's about allowing ourselves to choose where we want to focus our mind, bringing more awareness to the fact that we get to choose where we focus our mind. Our mind isn't bad. Our thoughts aren't bad. Our bodies aren't bad. Just like our emotions aren't bad. Just like our spirits are not bad. Just like the total sum of all of our parts are not bad. Just like each one of the parts of us individually and as a collective is not good or bad. They are tools, and they're all sources of deepening our awareness of being here embodied in this earthly time. So the question here is, what will you choose to focus on? And when this comes out as a question, the receiving of this question, or when we hear this kind of question, we can go to an automatic and internal response of, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to change this, I have to change that. Something's wrong with what I'm doing, right? And this is another awareness of the collective consciousness this week. And as individuals, there's nothing wrong with what you're doing. We have maximized to the point as a collective in our growth and expansion to hit this point where we are starting to wake up and see the reality of the power of our choosing. So instead of going to I'm bad, what's wrong with me thoughts, I have to do this instead of that, just be aware, be in your awareness, be in the awareness of what it feels like when you're looking at the literal TV screen, or what it feels like when you're looking at your phone screen, a literal computer screen, and what it feels like when you're looking at that and getting involved in the information there, whatever that information is and whatever the source is. What does it feel like? And then direct your attention to another area. to nature, to your pets? What does it feel like when your attention is there? Or direct your attention to your work or your community, or when you're going out and running errands. Have your focus and awareness be in that present moment and asking yourself, what does that feel like when your attention and awareness is there? And the other exercise for this week is to really bring your awareness to what you are saying verbally and what your thoughts are thinking. This is a hard one for most of us, but right now the opening to this awareness is so easy and accessible. And again, these are not things to beat ourselves up for when we find that we are complaining or angry, but having our awareness there and then seeing what that feels like and then making a change. If you want, you get to choose. That is the exercise for this week, is to be in that point, that still point, that in-between point where you know you have a choice. Even if you don't choose something different, you know you have that choice. You embody the fact that you have a choice. You can literally shut down the screen and see kind of what's beyond the screen. And the other thing to notice about this card is that behind it is the Eight of Wind, and we pulled that card back in September. And you can go listen to that tarot insight again. The Eight of Wind is the energy behind this card. Once we've moved through that Eight of Wind, we built up the screen to allow us to see that we can create our own reality, and we can sit in that reality we're in. We can reference whatever reference that we want from the realities that we've lived. We can create out of our minds in so many ways, and that creation makes what we see in front of us. Our minds are so powerful, and we don't need to understand all of the intricacies of them, but we can drop into the awareness that they are powerful, and we can create with them, and we can choose where we focus with them, our minds. So hang in there, everybody. Drop into stillness for some time during the day. You will not be disappointed you did. Sign up for my newsletter with guided meditations into the energy centers. Pet your animals, go for walks with friends, or just by yourself in nature. And I'm sending lots of love and deep awareness to each and every one of you. I'll see you next week. Bye.